In this next article from Nonsense Public Radio, contractors dynamite mountains, bulldoze deserts in race to build a wall, baby! They're destroying wilderness prized by biologists to construct as many miles of border as possible. Woo! Build it, baby! Even though the incoming China Joe administration is expected to cancel the bear. Wait a minute. When did this guy win the election? I'm kind of confused. I mean, I know some states had their elections, but like, it's kind of in the Supreme Court right now, and they haven't actually voted on the president yet. We got this thing, it's called the Electoral College. It's meant to prevent the tyranny of the majority in the big cities because they like to race riot over there. But I guess they think that Donald Trump is doing a coup because he's using the courts in order to, because they're the highest government body in the land, the Supreme Court. They control everything in the government through their judgments. If it's not legal, they will strike it down. If the election was not legit, they will throw the hammer down. And you won't get China Joe up in the White House, the streaking White House groper, the one that a Secret Service agent had to be restrained from punching him after he groped his girlfriend in the White House. True story. Look it up. Biden is the streaking White House groper, a.k.a. China Joe, a.k.a. Creepy Joe, a.k.a. crackhead Hunter Biden's dad. So here is the beautiful sight of the wall that is keeping out all of the Latin Americans or the Latinos from coming and flooding up here and taking over. And they bring drugs and they bring a lot of criminals, a lot of cartel people flooding across the border. 4 and 5 of them getting past the border, uncaught, undetected. Now we got 20 illegal immigrants for every homeless person on the street. They're banging heroin all downtown. You see these little orange caps all over the place. And then you got next to these big skyscrapers, multi-$100 million skyscrapers with people making millions of dollars a year. You got homeless people all over the street banging dope that they're getting from the illegal immigrants and the Mexican cartel. And they're just taking shits on the sidewalk. Dude, you can just be walking down the street just like, doo, doo, doo. You can get cholera, Hep C, Hep A, typhoid fever, black plague, yellow fever, malaria, TB, and COVID when you step on a pile of shit with a hypodermic needle in it next to a bomb banging cartel dope they got from the illegal immigrants in the sanctuary state when he coughs. And if you don't want to stop this, then you racist. And it's you, the racist man, that is the reason why the people are poor, banging all that dope from the illegal immigrants in the sanctuary states. In the Colorado National Memorial, there were conquistador Francisco Vasquez de Corando entered what is now Arizona. Contractors are pulverizing the wilderness in a rush to put up as many miles of border wall as possible before the Trump administration stays in for the next 4 years after the Supreme Court throws the hammer down on that election fraud from the states that did not follow the Constitution in their laws. Instead of doing what they were supposed to do, which was to allow the state legislators to elect electors to the Electoral College. You ever heard of it? Instead, the corrupt governors and Secretary of State and judges took the power from the legislature and they did a coup to rig the democracy, the election for the Democrats because they hate Donald Trump. So instead of going through all of the legal procedures they were supposed to do, they just skipped those because they didn't have enough time. And they had to get Trump out. So they got $430 million in donations from Mark Zuckerberg. They bought Zuckerbox ballot drop boxes. They put them in Delaware County every 4,000 square miles. And in the Republican counties, they put them every 11,000 square miles. There was a lot more people in the Republican areas. So if you're in the Republican areas, you got to drive some miles. It's next to impossible to find. If you're a Democrat area, oh, they got the ballot boxes right there. And then they got these solar-powered security cameras that turn off at night so they could come in and ballot harvest. And then they didn't use the same signature verification for mail-in as they did for in-person. They relaxed it. They made it so it wasn't the same as the in-person voting requirement, which caused them to not throw out ballots that were unlawful. They allowed unlawful ballots through, and then they got caught stuffing ballots. And they said, oh no, we weren't counting ballots illegally whenever the law said we weren't allowed to. No. You didn't just see that. No. You're like, oh, well, no, you could just run the ballots through and then you'll get the same result. Because we separated the ballots from the signatures. Right? So then you run through the ballots through, you get the same result, right? Oh, no, but they won't let you audit the signatures because you got to get Trump out because he's building this wall. That means he's racist. He said, grab it by the pussy. So that means he's sexist. And he said, Mexico is not sending us their finest people. So that means he's a xenophobe. So that means he's fascist. So you got to do anything in your power to take him out, to stop these good people from building a wall, to protect us from the floods of economic migrants that are coming to get the government handouts from the Democrats. Why the Democrats letting them come in? 2/3 of them vote for Democrats. For a Democrat, they're foaming at the mouth. All their kids are going to start voting for Democrats to get the government handouts. The Democrats are the ones that relax the immigration laws that allow your families to mass immigrate up here. And then we give you government handouts to boost your family size. Because the white man's racist and they took the land from the American Indians after up to 95% of them died from smallpox. And 6% of them owned slaves that they bought from Africans. So that means that we don't belong here because we took the land from the American Indians who also owned slaves. They even owned African slaves. But no, it's just the white man, because the white man's bad. He gives the American Indians handouts that they used to go buy alcohol with. And then they get really drunk and then they kill each other. And so it's the white man that's holding them down from them poor rural states. He's the one that is underpaying all the women in these big Democrat-run cities just taking the cut. Bam. Won't let them go to work. Won't let them go to school. Won't let them have no friends. He rapes them. They beat the women. They put burqas on them. But we can't do anything. We can't do anything to stop the migrant caravans because it's racist. Because if you try to protect the white people's majority to ensure that they're able to hold the assets that their family saved, instead, we got to have sanctuary states. We got to, Biden, it says he's going to do a 100-day moratorium on deportations. And why are they doing this? Because the average age of a white person is 58. Average age of black people and Latinos is about 23. Baby boomers are dying off. After they die off, our population, our share of the country as a whole shrinks dramatically. And then white people become a minority in the United States within the next 40 years. Baked into the cake, you can't do anything about it. You didn't know that, huh? Why? Why don't you know that? Because it's taboo to talk about it. How do I know it? Intellectual dark web. It's up on the dark web. When you uncode the main big media, big tech, Wikipedia, Chinese Nazi party, because they say they're communists, yet they have money. If you want to sell there, you have to bribe the Chinese quote-unquote communist party leader. If you want to get access to that slave labor from them Uyghurs or the impoverished people out, the 300 million impoverished people out in the countryside, you got to pay the bribe to the Chinese Nazi party leader. And they got so much money and bribe money over there. They got more money than Bill Gates. There's a bunch of them. And they've been funneling this funny money all around the United States, paying off Democratic Party officials, paying off everybody at ports where they do a lot of business in. Everywhere Chinese Nazi party companies go, there's a web of corruption. They're paying everyone off. It's called soft power. Then they hack all our businesses. They steal all our IP, force us to manufacture over there if we want to be able to compete. We got to use their slave labor from the